waiting for the recording to start. Okay, it's recording. Okay, so okay, to quickly summarize, if you're taking a language like English, we first learn alphabets. Using alphabets, we form words, and using the grammar of the language, we form sentences. And with the combination of sentences, we form paragraphs. With the combination of paragraphs, we get an article or text. And in Python, it is written in English, and the alphabets of Python are the same as English. A collection of alphabets, you get something called as tokens. Okay, instead of words, we call them as tokens. Similarly, a collection of tokens, we call them as statements. A collection of statements, we call them as a code block. A collection of code block, we'll just get a program. Okay, okay, fine. So that's a quick summary. So does anyone have any doubt in this? Any doubts? Okay, okay, fine. So far, this is very elementary stuff. Okay, fine. So next, I think I'll go to Colab. So you guys, if you want, you can join in Colab. I will share the code. Okay. So
all of you kindly do parallelly so that you will
yeah,
get the stuff. We
idea.
will do slowly. That's what I started the session in the morning itself. All of you requested to open your Colab and then do type the command whichever given right now. This is for
Okay.
your beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the link is here. I think I'll share this whole link. It has given me extra also. Okay, it's fine. I will share it in the chat. So just tell me if you are like if you have reached this page. Okay, this
Subin,
page.
I want to give one instruction.
Yes, ma'am.
See, kindly pay attention what is doing. You no need to type parallelly. Okay, after completing, he will share the line of code in the code share. Then you can copy from there, then you can try run on it. When he is explaining, please pay attention. You no need to type parallelly.
Okay. Okay, I have it open code share also. Okay. Okay. So everyone has reached this welcome page. Yes, got it right. Okay, fine, 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 fine. Okay, everyone has got it. Huh? So here you can look at this new notebook. Okay, I think I already opened one, but others you can try clicking the new notebook. My last project utility. This one, this one. Okay, 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 okay. It's not there. I'll also start the new notebook. Click new notebook. Yeah. Okay. So you will get something like this. So everyone has reached that part. Echo. If anyone's mic is on, turn it off. Okay. Try. I'll give 2 minutes. I'll give 2 minutes. Sign in. Yeah. So actually, yeah. Listen. So the thing is that okay. If you have a Gmail account, you can use Colab. If you do not have a Gmail account, I will share this video after today evening. You can try it later on. Okay. So then sign in with your Google account. That's all. Any account.
We could do it, sir.
Yeah. So sign in with any Google account. Okay, mine is actually by default it is logged in, so only it didn't ask for sign in. Okay, so you can sign in with any of the Google account. So here, okay, so this part, this is called as a code block. Okay, where this is showing a line number, right? This one, it is showing one. That part is called as a code block. So if you look at this diagram, okay, that means in that block we are going to type some Python statements. Okay, in that block we are going to type some Python statements. And to make a complete Python program, we are going to have more than one code block. Fine, fine. So I'll type in the code block. So this, okay, so num is some name, okay, some name, and I can give it equal, yeah, yeah. Tell.
The one is not appearing in my that one is coming appearing.
Okay, I think that has to do with this thing. Comment sidebar notebook. It's a view issue. It is not a problem. When you type, it may come. It is not a problem. It's not a problem. Okay. Okay. So that is called line number. That's all. That is line number. Fine. Okay. So you may ask now, why should you learn a programming language? Okay. Why should you learn a programming language? So again, back to the screen. So we are going to add another person to our category. So this is Python. This one is for Python. This one is for our English. And we are going to have one more guy, and that is for our computer CPU or hardware. Okay, hardware. Okay. So this is where the calculation. This is where the calculation happens. Calculations happens in nanoseconds. So it is very fast, and it would be meaningful to use it. So here again, the first question you might ask is, what does the CPU understand? Okay, what does the CPU understand? Again, you should ask for the alphabets. Its alphabets are just two numbers. Okay, it is not ABCD. Its alphabets are 0 and 1. Okay, and that means that the CPU or any hardware component, any hardware part in your computer understands only 0 and 1. Okay, it doesn't understand ABCD or anything. So okay, so a collection of zeros and ones is called as a words. We'll stop there. Okay, so why do we go for a programming language? Is that a programming language, a program is a way to communicate with your CPU. Okay, so now here's another question from me. Yeah, binary numbers. So here's another question from me. Okay, Colab link I didn't share here, I think. Okay. The question, okay, binary digits. Okay, so the question is that, okay, let us say a person knows one language, say English, another person knows Tamil, okay, a third person knows English and Tamil. Okay, so the person who knows Tamil wants to communicate to the person who knows English. So what will he do? Okay, so he will generally sign language. Okay, that is one option. Let's say no, they both don't know a sign language. So generally he'll talk to the person who knows both the language, and that person will translate it to the person who knows English. Okay, so the main keyword here is translate. Okay, so there is some program called an interpreter. Okay, there's one program called an interpreter which will translate a Python code into zeros and ones. Okay, and some, let's say some it's again a black box. Something happens, and your code will get executed. So Python is a way of instructing your CPU to perform calculations. Python programming, the programming language, is a way to talk to your computer. It's a one way to talk to your computer. All programming languages do the same thing. Okay, if you want to talk to the computer, you should know a programming language, and you should know how to convert your code into zeros and ones. Okay, something which your computer understands. Okay, fine. Okay, so I think I can go. So the first thing I'll teach is generally is comments. Okay, so when it comes to programming, okay, you are seeing my screen. I am coding. You should
Sir, this page is not coming, sir, after connecting.
Which page? Colab.
Sir?
Which page is not coming? Colab? Is it?
Yes, sir, after that, something is written on that page, like what is collaborative, getting started. This sort of things are there, but this blank page is not the way we can type.
New notebook.
Yeah, new notebook. Okay, I'll show that also. So it's like you close that getting started and all. You click this file and you click new notebook. Okay. You will get this file. This file option will be there. File, new notebook. Okay. Fine.
I'm using mobile, sir.
Mobile, it will be hard, ma'am. If you are using some other thing, you just listen. That would be enough. Okay, so this is called as a comment. So the thing is that the person who's gonna translate my Python code to zeros and one is called as an interpreter program. Okay, you cannot see the interpreter program, but to run the interpreter program, what you have to do is you have to press Shift and Enter. Okay, I pressed it once. Okay, I didn't connect, so it will automatically connect. So you have to wait for some time. So I just gave a hash. So hash means comments, and comments will not get interpreted, they will be ignored. Okay, so now the question is, what are comments? So comments are actually a guideline or tools for someone who's seeing your code. For example, I'll write this is my first program. So these are actually instructions for someone who's seeing your code. Okay, so for example, you all are seeing this code. When you look at this code, you will think that okay, this is my first program. Okay, so the thing is that it is not an instruction to the computer. Okay, it is an instruction to the reader. Okay, it is an instruction to some other programmer. Okay, so yeah, this is just for the thing is that sometimes codes can get complicated. So to get through the logic quickly, we use comments. Okay. So this is my first program. So if you run this, you will not get anything. Okay, you will not get anything. Fine. Fine. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something called Python data types and variables. Okay. So Python has like Python can what can Python store? Python can store integer numbers, that is from minus some range to plus some range. Okay, and Python can store floating values. Floating value means decimal values, like not decimal, point values. 1.1, 5.5, something like that. 5.678, 3.14, 5 value, those values. So that is float, and it can store complex numbers. Okay, so maybe I'll scroll down a bit. Okay, so what does Python have? So Python has integers. So integers can take negative values, that is -1, -2, and so on and so on. Okay, so okay, so these are integers, and it can take negative values. And okay, 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Kindly mute your mic, sir. Someone is talking. Okay. No, it's okay. Okay. So we have integers. Okay. Then you have floating values. Floating values are something which looks like this, 1.2. So it can be minus also, -2.2 and so on. Okay, 3.4 and so on. Okay, so then you can have strings. Strings in the sense English characters, and you should give strings in double quotes. Remember this. Okay, so it's like hello world. So this is generally the first program many people type. Hello world, and what else? So So there are more, but for basic necessity, we will stop here. So there is something called list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Okay. So there are more and more. I'll give the basic idea, and I'll give resources which you can look into. Okay. But yeah, the basic idea is important. Fine. So the thing is that you can store values in some container, some locations, in some memory locations inside your computer, and these places are called as variables. Okay, they are called variables because their values can change, it can vary. Okay, so here's the first thing we are going to do. So let's say we are going to create a string, the hello world string which I told you, string. So hello world. Okay, fine. So this is a small code block. So to run this, there are like I think 2 ways. I have not used this one. Okay, here it is. Run cell. Okay, I think it's run selection. Okay. So you can try this run selection, or you can give Control Shift Enter. So you should learn this shortcut. Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't share. Yeah, shared. Okay, fine. Okay, so now you can see, right? Huh? Yeah, you can use the arrow keys or you can press enter, whatever. It will go to the next one. So here, so this, as I told you, this line will not get translated, but this line will get translated. Okay, this is a Python statement. Okay, so you should know what are all the words here. Okay, so words in the sense tokens. So this token is called as literal. Okay, so I'll write a comment below. Okay, it is in the format of ignore the hash. Okay, literal. It's called as literal. And this equal to, right? It is called equal to is called as operator. It's an operator. And hello world is a string. Fine. So it's a string token. It's a string token, operator token, and a literal token. Okay. So I hope you remember these tokens. So it's a type of word. So it is a type of word. Okay, so it is like in English you have like nouns, pronouns, adjectives, prepositions, and so on. That is subwords. Okay, subwords. Here that's parts of speech. Here what we have is in tokens. I will expand tokens now a little bit. Okay, so when it comes to tokens, as of now, we saw.
Sir, was that literal operator string? Was that
literal operator string. Okay. Okay. So literal, we saw literal now. And we saw an operator. Operator is equal to sign. Equal to sign is called as an operator. And the last one we saw is a string. String is actually nothing but a collection of English characters. Okay, in English characters given inside a double quote. So it is a string. So we saw 3 tokens in this statement. Okay.
একটা গুগল ফর্মে একটা পরীক্ষা হবে বুঝতে পেরেছিস
In this token we have 3.
গুগল ফর্মে পরীক্ষা হবে তখন ওখানে তখন ওই পরীক্ষাটা স্কুল থেকে জানাতে হবে যে আমার পরীক্ষা তখন সাবস্ক্রিপশন বুঝেছিস
Can you mute your mic?
হ্যালো
Yeah, can you mute your mic, ma'am? Someone's.
আপনাকে জানাতে হবে যে এই দিনটা আমাদের পরীক্ষা আছে তখন সাবস্ক্রিপশন হবে
Someone's mic is on.
জানে না নাকি
Find it 1 minute.
হ্যাঁ অত ওরা অত বাহাল লুকিয়ে দে একদিনে 2-3টা করে ট্রেনিং করাবে
Sunanda ma'am, please mute your mic.
হ্যাঁ বল
Someone's mic.
Sunanda ma'am, kindly mute your mic.
Okay. I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm like I don't know which person it is. I'm searching the list. Okay, fine. It's okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, back to code. So I'm going very slowly. I think everyone is able to follow me, right? Okay, fine. So, okay, so I'll pick up speed. So as we go on, we'll pick up speed. We'll not go this slow. So this is the fundamental basics you should know. That is why I'm going very slow. Okay, so now here what happens is a literal is actually any token which you are naming. So this is the something which I named. Okay, so it's like you can give anything at all. You can give you should not give str. It's a keyword. Huh? So I'll call it str1. Str1 means a short form for string 1. Okay, it's a short form for string 1. You can give any number, anything. So the choice is yours. Huh? So this str is actually called as a variable, and this variable stores the string hello world. Okay, so now to execute this, I'll give shift enter. Okay, so it executes. There is no error. Okay. So now the next question is, how do I know that str1 has the string hello world? You can print it. So one way of printing is you can give str1, okay, and give shift enter. Okay. So here I have got the output, right. So here I have got the output. So there is now one. Okay, so this is a string. I said it's a string, so you need not believe me that it's a string. So I can show you that it's a string by you calling something called a function. Okay, so people must have done some basic math, so you should have some idea on what's a function. So if I say I have a function like in let's say mathematics, if I have a function like f of x, so what does that mean? What does that mean? F of x is a function which takes a value for x, and it will give some output. Okay, so x can be some integer value or something. If you will give the input value, you will get some output value. Okay, so similarly in Python also you have something called functions. Okay, so functions, I'm not going in detail. I will only tell how to call a function or how to use a function. Okay, so for example, now if you want to know the data type, of your function, you will have to give type. So type is a function, and function is represented by this parenthesis bracket. Okay, so str1. So if you give like this, so it says str. Str means it's string. Okay, str means it is a string. So okay, so but now if you notice, my hello world is not getting printed. Okay, so for that I have another function called as print. Okay, there's a function called print. So in that, if I give like this, the first line will be hello world, the next line will show the data type of this variable. Okay, so type is a function which will take one variable as input, and it will return, or it will give you the data type of it. Okay, so you should remember this syntaxes, and now again everything is made up of tokens. Okay, so type, what is type? Type comes under identifier. Okay, identifier or literal. Okay, so type comes under literal. Okay, the name of the function is given by the developer. Whoever wrote the code for type, he only gave the name. So type is a literal. Okay, then you saw an open bracket. Okay, open bracket comes under something called as special characters. So open bracket comes under something called as special character. Okay, someone is joining. Okay, so okay, so we saw that type. Okay, type, it is a literal, open bracket, it is a special character, str1, it is again a literal, close bracket is again a special character. Okay, so now we saw, as of now we saw only string data type. Okay, so let us say we want to add two numbers. Okay, so if you want to add two numbers, the first thing is you should store two numbers. Okay, so okay, so this is a separate block. We shall keep it as a very separate block. As of now, the blocks are very small. Usually, these things we'll put in a single block. But for a beginning stage, I'm like doing it in separate blocks. Okay, so let's say I have like I want a number 1, which is equal to 5. Let's keep it as 5. Okay, then we have number 2. So there are actually rules for creating this literal names. You cannot give random this thing, like for example $. You cannot have variable names like that. Okay, so those things are banned, but I'm not going to discuss the rules in detail. Okay, so and it's a good practice that you give names meaningfully, like you give your children or pets, you give meaningful names. You should give your variables also some meaningful names. Okay, so now we have created two variables. Okay, so again this one is a literal, space is a special character, but it will get ignored. Equal to is an operator, and 5, so 5, this is the first time you are seeing 5. 5 is called as a constant. Okay, 5 is called as a constant. So I will go and update our this thing. So 5 is called as a constant. So we have seen 5 tokens. Okay, so the token count is increasing actually. So it is a constant. Okay, it's a constant token. Right. So the thing is that whenever you see a Python statement from now on, you should be able to question this. What are the token? What type of token is it? Okay, it is important. It is important because your syntax is based on this tokens. How the tokens is arranged. It's just like your English too. You can. It's like he is running. Running is he. So it is like wrong, right? It is wrong. So the arrangement and the location of the tokens matter. Okay. So it's just like learning a new language. Okay, programming is just like learning a new language. And here, if you notice, I am not running this code. So if I don't run this code, and if I just call num1, okay, I'm not running this code block. Instead of not running this code block, if I directly run num, I will get something called as an error. Okay, so what is it saying? Name error. Name num1 is not defined. So this is the error. So this one I got it during interpretation. So it's an interpretation error. So yeah, it's an interpretation error. Some errors I'll get during running the program. That is, the program will run fine, but I will not get my desired output. So those are called runtime, or a subtype of runtime, which is called logical error. So those errors we'll see a bit later. Okay. So the thing is that if it doesn't know that you have created num1, it will show an error. I will run this code block. So when I run this code block, only then this num1 is getting created. Okay. Earlier num1 was not created. So num1 is created, and this 5 is stored into num1, and num2 is created, 10 is stored into num2. Okay. So now if I run this code, I should not get any error, and num1 should print 5. Okay. So I'm not getting any error. I'm getting the output. So okay. Now if I okay, so earlier what happened was I did not run this code block. Okay, so I did not interpret the code block. That means I did not translate the code block. So this part was not created. Num1 was not created. Num2 was not created. Before creating I ran I ran a code block saying that num1. Okay, num1 is not correct. Shift enter. Actually, I can click and move to any block. So I actually, without running, I simply click this block and then I gave shift enter. Okay, fine. Okay, so
Sir, I have a doubt.
yeah, what is your doubt, ma'am?
Sir, you didn't use print statement, but how did you get 5?
Okay, so the thing is that in code blocks, this thing, the last variable, if the last line is a variable, it will print that value directly. You do not write a print statement. Okay, so now if I give, so the question is that now what will happen if I run this code, the small code block? What will I get? Answer in the chat. Where to give space and 15. I will not get 15. I didn't do any addition. 5 and 10 both. Okay. So in one group, I'm getting answer as 10. Answer in the chat. Some people are answering 5. Okay. 50. Okay. 5 and 10. 5 and 10. Okay. So I'll repeat this last point again, and then you shall decide. The thing is that if I do not call the print function, and my code block, this is my code block, right? If the code block ends with a literal, if the code block ends with a literal or variable, that variable alone will get printed. And if there are like other variables before that, it will not get printed, it will get ignored. So according to what I said just now, only the value stored in variable 2 will get printed. That means I'll get 10. Okay, I'll get 10. I will not get both 5 and 10. Okay, I'll show you. I will not get both 5 and 10 because 5 is 5 is stored in num1. 5 is stored in num1 and it is before num2. Okay, it is not the last line in the code block, so it will not get executed. So I should get 10. Okay, fine. So does anyone have doubt in this? This is very fundamental. Does anyone got 5 in this? Yeah. Shift enter means interpret and run my code. That is the meaning. Interpret and run my code. If you don't know what interpret is, just replace it, translate and run my code. You're telling Colab notebook that translate my code and run it. Okay. Okay. So earlier I got an error, na? So the thing is that it's called translation error or interpreter error. The translator could not translate that code. Okay. Fine. So now if I want to print, yeah. Ask.
Small doubt. So
Yeah.
now, this is in 9th cell we have declared, right? And we assign the value to this variable.
Okay.
In this notebook, if I type anywhere num1, num2, will I get the same result?
Try it out.
Yeah,
Try it out. Yes, you are supposed to get the same result provided you are not changing the value of num1 and num2. I told you again, num1 and num2 are variables, so values can change. And yes, it is acting like a global variable. Okay. So these numbers, right? These numbers are like not the inner numbers are line number. So this 1 and 2 are line numbers. The outer number. So I'm having a 10 in this line. This is 10. This is showing a 10. This is showing a 5. Here it is 3. So it tells me what order I executed, which one I executed first, which one I executed next, and so on. Okay. So people who know Python, please don't answer. People who are like learning for the first time, the question is for you is this. These kind of questions you can expect in the exam. That is why listen. The question is, I want to print the value of num1. What change should I make? Reply in the chat. In the same code, I have to make one small change so that I can print the value of num also. What change should I make? Okay, print bracket num1. Okay, print bracket num1. Okay, fine. So it is like print bracket num1. Okay. So I got 5 and 10. So we are going to do something fancy with print statement. That is, we are going to tell the user that the value stored in num1 is 5. Okay. So it's going to be something like this. So how do you add? So print statement accepts strings also. Okay. Print statements accepts strings, and how you can give is, let's say that the value stored, okay, value stored in num1 is, put a semicolon. Okay, so after the close bracket, you should put a plus. Okay, so this is the syntax, this is the grammar. If you ask why is it like that, you should ask why the developer of Python. Okay, why did he create it like this? Okay, so there is no reason, he decided it should be like this, so it is like this. So it is more like in English, na, why do you call an apple an apple? Okay, you can go back to Greek history and everything, but again you will end up with one question which you cannot find the answer for. Okay, so I will run this. Okay, I think I got an error. What did I miss? Okay. So here is another thing. The thing is that print statement, right? Print statement, when I give something like this, this plus will act as a string. Okay. So what is the data type of this? This data type is, reply in the chat. It is not remove plus. Huh? Okay. So I think Rini ma'am knows programming. So that's a string, right? That is a string. Huh? And num is, what is the data type of num1? What is the data type of num1? What is the data type of num1? Num1 is storing an integer. Okay, it is storing an integer, a number. Huh? Fine. Yes. The thing is that this is a string, this is a number. So it is like getting confused. What should I do? Huh? So it's saying here, type error. It's saying type error must be a string and not an integer. Okay. So okay. And it is even telling you the line. Yeah. Comma, no, the syntax doesn't allow that. As far as I remember, the syntax doesn't allow that. Okay. So okay, if you want, yeah, we'll put a comma and see. I think we'll get, okay. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. So if you put a comma, it works. Okay. So if I put plus, the meaning is that I am doing something called string concatenation. Okay. So here, if I put a plus, the meaning is that I am doing something called string concatenation. For string concatenation, you will expect, so you will expect both of the left side of the plus and right side of the plus to be of same data type. So you should be like string plus a string. Okay, you should not be string plus a number or anything. Okay, so when you give a comma, so here you can see, right, comma, it says it's just like it takes them in separate parts. Okay, it takes them in separate part. It doesn't care about the data type. Okay, right. I think it adds a space. Okay, so let's go to the plus itself. There is a way to convert number to string, and that is again through a function called str. Okay, str. So this is called as typecasting. Okay, converting the type of an integer or any variable into string format. Okay, so this will work. Yeah, fine. This will work, and what the others are suggested also, it will work. Okay. So okay, this both of them are right. Huh?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
What do they mean by indentation errors or unexpected indent?
Okay, so indentation means you accidentally gave an extra space bar somewhere. You should not give a space bar. Did you give a space bar somewhere? Check your code. So the thing is that to make the things more read, that's the problem. That's what I said. These are all called as syntax errors. Whatever we got so far, all of these are called as syntax errors. So this is what many people in the beginning will get. So as you code for like 1 or 2 weeks, you will be fine. Okay, 1 or 2 weeks if you code, you will get used to it. So the thing is that if you find a syntax error, you should learn the grammar. Okay, if you make a grammar mistake, you should know the grammar. Okay, so the grammar is the most important part, the only thing which makes this programming tough in the beginning stages. As you go on, you'll get more and more problems, but the initial stages, this is the first and foremost issue. Okay, so ma'am, did you correct your indentation error?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, so I think I have covered what I mainly intended. Okay, so this whole thing actually, it's a 1 semester worth of course. I actually rushed through a lot. I usually will take 2 weeks. It'll go even slower than this, because when learning something for the first time, it is very hard. I know. And especially this is actually a function call. Okay, it's a function call. It's calling something. Okay, it's like the input should be some variable and output will be a string. Okay, it's a function call. Input will be a some variable, output will be a string. Okay, so just imagine like your normal mathematical function. If it is f of x, you give some value to x, to that function, you will get some number as an output. Okay, number or something as an output. Okay, substitute the value of x inside the equation and you will get some value, final value. Okay, right. So now with that said, so this is the most important part, and this will be highly useful in what do you call as our AI programming. So this part is very, very important. So the basic variables and all I have told you. I will share you a link after this. Program is one website is there. You can quickly refresh all the basics. I mean, you can learn the basics. You can learn slowly. You can learn quickly. That is your wish. You can take your time and learn. So the basic idea I have given you. Okay. And Python, there are like several types of coding in Python. Okay. This is called as interactive coding. Okay. So interactive coding means I can write a small piece of code, check immediately and go to the next. And then there is something called scripting Python. Scripting Python means you type the whole code, then you go to some location or you press a button to run your code. Okay, so that small difference is there, but if you use Colab, you will get interactive Python. Okay, so now yeah, tell. Okay, okay. Yes. Yes. Mm. Yes. So here's the thing. Okay. So inverted commas, I think he means is this. So if you put three inverted commas, it means multi-line comment. Okay. So hash is a single line comment. So if a software developer is like giving a long set of English instructions, if he gives in one line, it will be very tedious. So he'll give in multiple lines in English. So in that places they'll give this three double quotes. Three double quotes means it is a comment. Okay, a multi-line comment, not a single line comment. It's a multi-line comment. So you can see that I have commented these two. So now if I run this code, I'll only get line number. I'll only get 10 because in Python or in any programming language, the translator will not execute the comment lines. Okay. So these two are command lines, so it will completely ignore it. Right? Okay. So again, now there is one more thing I'll have to add. I think I'll add it in here itself instead of going there. It will be a huge comment typing. Okay. So there are like mainly two types of Python. Okay. Python 2 and Python 3. So last time I remember Python 2, I think it was like in Python 2.7, 7 point something. In Python 3 is like 3 point, I don't know, 8 or 9. So very old. When I was doing my masters, when I did Python, it was like 3.5. So I think 3.8 and 9 and all must have come. Okay. The problem is that Python 2.7 and Python 3.5 are all Python, but their grammar changes. For example, in Python 2, you can have printf statements like this. So, okay, so you just with space, I think with space you can have a printf statement. You need not put the brackets. Okay. Some developers didn't like the idea for obvious reasons. So in Python 3, they changed the grammar. So whatever code runs in Python 2.7 will not run in Python 3.5. Now you may have a question. When you are learning Python, which Python version should I learn? So Python 3, I'll suggest the latest version because that is what the future is going to be about. The future will go in that direction. So it is best to learn the later releases. If we have a future Python 4, which we may not have, it is best to learn whichever is this thing later. So when I was in my college doing my masters, that time Python 2.7 only you can find many codes. Nowadays you can find codes for many Python 3.5 also. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So be careful. Know which version of Python you are running. So Python, generally use Python 3.3 and above. 3 and above is fine. And sometimes within Python 3 also, 3.4 and 3.6 also, you may have some issues. So especially when you are using something called new packages. Okay. So I'll leave this for now. I'll come to the actual thing which I was about to talk. So after learning some basics, so I skipped something called if and for. So they are fundamental, but maybe I'll take tomorrow. But for the afternoon hands-on session, you may need this part first. The thing is something called ADT. Okay, it's called abstract data type. Okay. So we saw data types. So what data types I showed you is integer, float. I didn't show you. So I didn't perform num1 plus num2. I'm so bad. I said I'll do addition, right? So that's simple. Addition is very straightforward. Num1 plus num2, and you should get 15. Okay, fine. So num1 plus num2. So here actually you can have another variable num3 if you want. You can store the result in num3 and print num3 also. Okay, fine. Okay. So abstract data type. So the idea of computer science, this one everyone must know when you're like choosing computer science. The idea of computer science is abstraction. Abstraction means hiding of the complexity. So here I hid so much complexity. I told you that computers understands 0 and 1, right? Computer understands 0 and 1. Okay. So how is this 10 stored? Do you know? Maybe if you're a computer engineer, you would know. So the main thing about high level, this is a high level programming language, which is closer to human language. The main idea of higher level programming language, main idea of software is to hide the complexity. I'll give even more detailed example. Intel, there's a company called Intel who makes CPUs and all. Intel, AMD, they make CPU processors. That is what your computer is probably running on. Okay, that person makes the CPUs based on silica. Silica is something similar to sand. Sand, refined maybe sand and everything. He doesn't need to worry where the sand is coming from. He needs to know that from this location he'll get the sand, and the sand quality he'll have some expectations, and he'll get that. From the sand he will make the processor chip and all. Okay. Now let us say you're having a laptop or something called Dell or HP or Mac or whatever. these companies will buy Intel chips. Okay, these CPUs, they'll buy these CPUs and they'll put it in their computers. They'll put it in their computers, and they will know how to communicate with these chips. Okay, they'll know how to communicate. They'll know what command to give, what instruction to give to the chips, but they will not know how the chips are made. They may know in one way. I mean, like in a what do you call it? In an abstract way, in a hidden way, they may know. Okay, this is how it is done, but they will not actually go and work in it. They will only give instructions and they'll give the packing, everything, and they will sell it to you. For you, okay, you need not know how it works, how everything is arranged, everything. That is not your job. And that difficulty, the difficulty of arrangement is hidden from you. And that hiding is given to something by something called as operating system. Okay. Operating system is like Windows. You must have Windows, right? Windows is loading, Linux or Mac. So those are called operating systems. They are softwares which manage. So the name operating system is like very scary. Don't be scared by this thing. The only thing about scary thing about computer is the names. Scientists are very bad in naming, so they are like they named it as such. Operating system is just nothing but your manager. Manager, it manages the computer hardware components. Okay, if you make request to it, if you're like clicking something, it's a request to the operating system. It will do what it should do. Okay, so it is nothing but a manager. Okay, computer is not this thing. Operating system, Windows is nothing but a manager for you. It will manage the hardware components and some other essential programs for you. Okay, so again, there the what do you call it? The complexity is hidden from you. Then we software developers, they will develop software. For example, Google Chrome, that is a software program. Your Candy Crush, that is a software program. All of these software programs are written in some programming language. Okay, all of this is written in some programming language. And the thing is that the end user, whoever is playing the game or anything, they won't know. So those things are actually abstracted, hidden from them. Okay, the complexity is hidden from them. So computer science is like several layers of abstraction. Okay, yeah. So again, one example is that electronic switches, we know it is on and off, but how does it work in those circuits? So those things and all are abstracted to us, are hidden to us. Okay. So this one you should keep in mind very, very clearly. Which part are you focusing on? Okay. So based on this abstraction, we have like two parts. So abstract data types are created by programmers. So like, there are like two levels of programmers. Okay, I'll call them levels. Okay, there is it. Okay, so I will call them as levels. I think I have to finish fast. So it is like one level one, some naive starting programmer. Okay, level one programmer. In industry, we call them as software developers. Okay. So programmer, I think I got the spelling wrong. Okay, okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, and they are like maybe called as software developers. This is the job role. Developers. Okay. So there is something called object oriented programming, and this one comes along with this thing. Oops, this is very, very fundamental for software development, and we will be using that. So generally, teaching a programming language is one semester, and teaching about OOPS is the next semester. Okay. So okay, but the ideology is same. Ideology is same. If you know the idea, it is as simple as doing num1 plus num2. Okay. So I'll give the idea. Okay. And then there you will have this level 2 programmer, let's say. Programmer. Okay. Level 2 programmer. Again, they are also software developers. One will be junior, one will be senior maybe. And even seniors will work in level 1. So the name actually doesn't matter. Okay. Right. The thing is that this ADT, right? This ADT and OOPS, these guys will create them. Okay. These guys will create ADTs Okay, ADTs using OOPS concept. Okay, using OOPS concept. Huh? So abstract data types using OOPS concept. I'll show one ADT. Okay, I'll show one ADT. And the thing is that these people should be very good in optimization. Whatever thing they produce, whatever ADT they produce, it must be optimized. Okay. So now I'll actually go to the topic called as packages. So I don't know what other packages people will use, but in our case, we will use a package called Keras. Okay. And maybe next session they'll use something called sklearn. Okay. Now I need you to imagine. I need you to use your imagination. As packages are like something we call as libraries. So if you're a librarian, you can easily relate, I think. So in a library, what will you have? You will have a lot of books, right? You have a lot of books. Okay. So each package, so Keras or sklearn, these are packages. These are like libraries. Okay. And inside each library, you will have plenty of books. Each books will have a different use. Okay. Okay. So this is a fundamental thing I need you to know. Okay. And this Keras will have a bunch of things called ADTs. Okay. And these ADTs will be optimized. This is what people learn in computer science and engineering generally. So these ADTs and things will be optimized. You may be little bit confused, but I'll give you a clearer idea. So what do these developers do? We actually will fall in this level. For this workshop, introductory workshop, we'll fall in this level. Okay. In this level, okay, what we will do is we will use these ADTs. That's all. We'll use these ADTs as tools. ADTs as tools to create whatever programs we want. Okay. ADTs and packages. Okay. ADTs, packages. So I think people who learn Python will remember these things as classes. Okay. So I think classes may be more familiar for them. Okay. So what I'm going to show now is something called list ADTs. Okay. So when it comes to an ADT, you should ask this question. The question is, what are all the operations it can do? Okay. So I said list is an ADT. How do you create a list? So this is an inbuilt data type. List is like an inbuilt data type. So it's like now I'll say, okay, list one. Okay. List one. List is a flexible ADT. I can if I give this double bracket, it becomes list. So I think I'll give type. So if I know the type of list one. Okay, so it is a list data type. Okay, so I said the list is an ADT. So what you should ask is, what are all the set of operations given to me? Set of operations in list. Okay, what are all the set of operations in list ADT? Okay, and another thing is, what all set of values? Okay, what all set of values can you give to these operations, and what are the set of values it can store? Okay, so I'll repeat again. List is an ADT. Okay, list is an ADT, and okay, each list will have some set of operations. Operations in the sense, I call them as functions. Okay, functions, and okay, and each of them can store a set of values. Now you may ask, what can a list store? Okay, so list is very flexible. It can store multiple data types at the same time. Okay, So for example, I can store something like 1, okay, then apple 3.0, okay, fine. So this is how you give items in a list, huh? So everything should be followed by a comma, okay. So this is like the first value in the list, this is the second value in the list, and this is the third value in the list, okay, fine. So if I want to access the first value in the list, I should give it as list 1 of 0, 0, okay. Okay, so I got the 1, huh? If I want 1 and 2 both values in the list, okay, I will give it as 0 colon, this is syntax, 0 colon, okay. So if I want the next element also, I should give 2, okay. It goes from 0 to 1, so you will get an idea, okay. I think I went a little bit high in complexity. Are people able to follow me still? TensorFlow we will not take. TensorFlow we will not take. It's fine, bruh. So okay, I have not shown the ADT operations. So just one minute, just give me a minute. So I can print like this. So list, okay, list. When I make a variable as a list, so ADT variables or class variables are called as, it has a special name, objects. Okay, yeah. So that also I'll add in this comment. Maybe I'll share this Google Drive. I mean this what do you call it? This doc with you after everything is over. Huh? So ADT or class variables, okay. So list 1 is a class variable, they are called as objects, okay. Objects in general, Python, everything is called as objects, okay. So okay, so list 1, so list 1 is actually a list object, so I think yeah, so these are all the functions in list ADT, okay. I can call this many functions. I can call a function called append, I can call a function called clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, and so on. So whenever you are learning an ADT or a class, whenever you are like importing a package, so I have not imported any package now. Maybe in the next session they will import a package and they'll show you. Whenever they are importing a package and whenever they are like using something like this, they'll use something, they'll call something like this. They will use something like this. They will not exactly give it like this. They may call something like a function. We call it a constructor. So those concepts I have not gone in detail. Okay. So you can see, right, when I give this dot, you can see all the functions you can do. Okay. For example, I'll show append. I'll append, let's say orange or something. Orange. Okay, so what happens is it will add this list, this orange value in the last part of the list. So now if I print the list 1, okay, if I print the list 1, I will get the earlier list plus the orange. Okay, so these things. So now the question is, do you know how append is implemented? We don't know. We just called a function. Okay, the function is append. We used a dot operator. This is called dot operator. After a dot, we gave append, and inside that we passed a value, and the value is orange. So it appended. So another thing maybe I can say try is count. So you can try this. You can try by yourself. This is not hard. I think brackets are there. Okay, syntax error. I think you don't have brackets. Exactly one argument. Okay, okay, okay. So actually, okay. So what argument does it take? List itself, huh?
Count of 3 gives sir. Count of 3.
Okay, 3, yeah. So I have not used it for a long time. Okay, what are we giving 1? Why did it give 1?
Oh, 1 3 integer is present there. You give count of apple, only 1 apple is
Okay,
there.
okay, fine. Okay, I got it. Okay, so okay, it's like it's for histogram. Okay, fine. So this is actually I did extra. I didn't plan to go this far. So okay, so I think the next person, the next session can handle to some extent. I hope you'll also go very slow. And okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask. In the chat, or you can unmute and ask. That is not a problem. I'll share the attendance file now. Any doubts? Yes. Yeah, these are ADTs, and actually the thing is that what is abstracted, the functions are abstracted. So I said count. How is it counting? We don't know. And someone in the other developer side, whoever wrote what list this thing count should do, they must have written an optimized code. Okay. Okay, optimized in the sense we generally have something called analysis of your program, analysis of your algorithm. We have something called asymptotic analysis and average case analysis. They'll quantify and they'll measure the program for quality. Is the program doing very well? Yeah. Mm. Mm. 1 minute. I have sent a form in the this chat. I think I'll put it in the what do you call it, our WhatsApp group also. I'll put it a little later. Okay. Yeah. So I'll come to your question. So you asked me a question. What is it? Count. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now I think you can see it, right? So list 1 dot count of 3. I got 1. Okay. So maybe I'll append one more and show. List 1. I'll append. I think I can append a list also. Yeah, I can share it. For me, it's not an issue. This is very clumsy, but it's very clumsy. But I can share it. No issues. Okay. So I'll add like some more twos and like a 3.0, one more. Okay. So I think it should be fine. It is appended. So I can print and see. So this is actually called over fragmentation. I shouldn't over fragment. Okay, it has added it as the list. So let's see if count accepts for a list of list. List 1. Dot count of 2. It find for list of list. No, it will not find for list.
Sir, you add list 1 dot append apple, then count of apple you
Yeah.
give.
Okay. Yeah, you're telling something, ma'am. You're telling something. Yeah.
Because that list is a single element.
Yeah. Single
it will not
dimension.
count two separate.
Yeah. Maybe okay. Maybe if I give like that, it will count. What is a list of what is it? What is the thing? 1 0 1 2 3 4, right? So list of 4 is 2 4. Okay. So now I think count of 2 should give me some number. Count of 2 3. Okay, now it gives. Okay, so you should know how to do this in parts also. So it's a this is a list of list. What I appended is to this already existing list. I appended another list, and now I'm like when I give list of list 1 of 4, I'm accessing this inner list. Okay, so in the inner list, I'm calling count. So there are 3 2s in that. So I'm getting the answer as 3. Okay, fine. Fine. Okay. Len can be used. Yeah. Come again, ma'am. I couldn't hear you.
It is acting like an array.
Okay. So arrays and lists are little bit different. So arrays will have only homogeneous elements. You cannot have other data types. But yeah, heterogeneous. List is one of the most flexible, but with that flexibility, you will get something called time cost. Okay, that's data structures in detail. We don't need to go there.
You are adding or using to add the values, the rows, and we add it in row wise. We have added column.
Okay. Yeah. That you can add. There's something like a 2-dimensional list. So this is actually somewhat complicated. This is not 2-dimensional. It is 1-dimensional. Yeah, it stores an integer. It stores a string called apple. It stores what do you call it? This thing float called 3. Another string called orange. It stores a list. It stores a list called this thing 2, 2, 2, 3.0. Okay. So this is actually not. This is something like hybrid. It's a 1-dimensional list, but it has different values. Okay.
Sir, using append, we can add only one element.
No, not really. I'll try. As the thing is that I tried this coding and all like 2 years back. We will still teach what do you call it? C++. C++ is still worth teaching.
Yes, sir. But 12th standard now uses CBSE 12th standard Python.
That is
Once
one.
they go to engineering, they will learn C++. They have to go backward.
But actually, learning Python is actually a very horrible idea. I don't know why.
Yes, really. Yes.
So these things actually you have to try and only see. So it's an error. It doesn't allow it like that. Okay. The thing is that C++ now it is a middle level programming language. So if you learn C++, you will get some idea about the hardware also. Here I didn't talk anything about hardware. Usually when I teach C++, I'll talk about a little bit about hardware also. When you go to Python, it is directly high level programming language. You will completely forget about how these things are happening in the inner levels. I told you earlier, right? In the beginning, I started with zeros and ones. So we'll actually show them like how it is getting stored inside a computer. In C++ and C, we can go in that level. C is a little bit too old. C++ you can teach. But I don't know what people are thinking, still going for Python. Okay. Python you can learn after learning C++. The thing is that if you learn C++, you can easily learn hardware programming languages, and you can easily learn software, high-level programming languages. So that is the advantage. If you learn Python, you will have to put a little more effort for hardware languages. Otherwise, it's one and the same. Okay. So yeah, doubts? Any more doubts? Len can be used. There is something called shape. Many things are there. So the thing is that in Python, for everything you will have a function. For anything you will have an operation. Okay. Fine. So that's the thing with Python. Okay, and that Google form is for both the sessions, morning session and afternoon session. Okay. So kindly fill it. I'll turn it off by 2 p.m. Attendance link I have shared. That's one form. It's a Google form. I'll put it in the WhatsApp group also. I'll close it by 2.
Okay. So let us meet at 2.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
The attendance and the feedback form are the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Attendance and the feedback form are the same.
So can you read the?
Tell. You're saying something.
No, I thought if you read that program code open.
Hmm.
You can share